Michelle?
Hello, my name is Michelle Klann, and I'm here as a concerned, sovereign, living being. I speak on behalf of all employees throughout the entire world. If any employer is going to make medical decisions on behalf of their employees to the degree that they would mandate an experimental treatment, then they should, in fact, be liable for their decisions. We, the people, do not believe that any employer should ever be allowed to practice medicine without a license. And if they do, they should be held accountable for their actions to the highest extent of the law. People must be allowed to make decisions for themselves and their families, and they should do so with their own research with respect to any and all medical treatments. If there are any adverse effects from this vaccine, individuals may be traumatized for a lifetime. They might not be able to put food on the table or provide a living for their families, and they must be compensated accordingly. You may have heard about a recent Senate hearing with Ron Johnson and Thomas Renz and Lee Dundas, where they shared information from analysts from the health and wellness of our beloved armed forces. Since the release of this experimental vaccine, we've seen a 1,000% increase in neurological disorders. We've also seen a drastic increase in heart attacks, stroke, blood clots, myocarditis, cancer, and miscarriage. This has to stop, and employers must be held liable if they force their employees to take any treatment against their free will.
Okay, any questions? Very good. Anybody else wishing to speak?
We have some, if necessaries, Laura Libman, John Probster, Susana Munoz Carranza, and that's all I see.
Okay. Members, any final discussion, comments? I'll just, before we dismiss here on this issue, I thank the sponsor for bringing this forward. I think this is something we definitely need to work on. This vaccine, it's still in trial stage. You would at least think something in a trial stage should not be forced upon people. Where we hear these cases where people say, oh, well, I got it and it improves things. But I can share you, I've never had it, and I've never gotten COVID. I've been around tons of people that have it, family members that have it too. Thank God I have a wonderful immune system. But regardless of what happens to me, I never get COVID for whatever reason. And so I'm very fortunate that way. Does that mean I can now say, oh, well, since I didn't take it, now I'm able to, that's the reason I never got it? I think that has just as much weight as anybody who says, oh, I took it and now it's not as bad. However, I have friends, we've got colleagues here at the Capitol who've been out for COVID since they got vaccinated for COVID. I have a close friend who I work with. He actually got COVID, recovered. It wasn't a big deal. He had heard that if he did the vaccine on top of after recovering that would help him. So he did the vaccine, and he's been sick for a year. And he still can't. He just can't kick it. He can't shake it. So, I mean, is that, the peer-reviewed research? No. Those are just, my own personal anecdotes and things I've kind of seen firsthand. And with the way we see things thrown around, especially us down here, I think we like our own personal experience. That means a lot to us. So anyways, hopefully we can get a good balance on this, because we're definitely seeing people doing things against their will, and that's never good. But with that, any further comments before we close? Okay.
Mr.
Yes,
Chairman, I would
Senator
just
Bartow.
thank you very much. I agree with your comments a lot, and again, I do add my thanks to the sponsor for bringing this up. I would just add that when there's a risk, there must be a choice. Thank you.
Very good.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I thought
Senator
it was
Lee.
the garlic I saw around your neck that prevented the COVID.
Right. There you go. All right. Well, thank you, members. I just want to thank everybody, too. We made it to the halfway point. And so we'll